snow outside is making me look as pale as I look in real life. I think the general question of can you crochet from a knitting pattern is pretty obvious. Yes, but with some caveats, and it's definitely not going to be like a one-to-one situation. This is something we do every once in a blue moon on my channel. I think the other two, I tried to crochet chainmail, and then before that, I tried to crochet a corset without a pattern. I did learn how to knit first in my life, but then my grandma taught me how to crochet, and as someone who's just really bad at counting and dropping stitches, crochet was kind of the perfect answer for me. The reason I came up with this idea was because I have been looking for a tapestry crochet project for either like a sweater or a sweater vest for a long time, and I haven't really been able to find anything that I personally like. And the only one I was able to find was a knitting pattern made by A Honey Knits, and it is the Honey Church vest. Let me check myself. Yes. And I thought, this looks really cute. Why don't I just try to crochet from this pattern? Now, since this is not my pattern, I'm not going to be giving any specifics on how to crochet this vest, but what I will be giving you is some general concepts that you can use going forward with any pattern you wish if you would like to try crocheting from a knitting pattern. You'll see me again at the end of this video so we can wrap up and talk about it, but until then, let's get started. So first up was to make the ribbing at the bottom and to figure out the sizing. I'll definitely explain more of how I figured out my sizing and the number of stitches later, but basically I ignored the stitches and focused on the inches my final size would end up being. I also originally tried to do the ribbing lengthwise like you usually do with knitting, but that tends to look bad when I do it with crochet. So I did it starting on the short end instead, made it the length it needed to be, and then just crocheted along the length of that to start the actual sweater bit. I find this looks much better and is easier than I'm making it sound right now. Oh, whoa. Let's catch up on where I am. My first light green skein is done. I'm about to move on to the second one, and I've started the addition of this like darker teal green. So far it's been going relatively well. I lost count a couple of times, but I think generally everything is going pretty okay. Any issues I've had so far with this pattern has been my fault because I'm bad at counting as always. But I forgot that I didn't show you like what all the colors I'm gonna do look like. So hold on, give me a second. We have this kind of light almost turquoise color, and then we have this dark teal, and then for the house, instead of doing white and black, I am doing a light pink and this really like almost maroon, but I think it's got some purple in it. This will be the roof, this will be like the house, and then the sky will kind of be like this grayish color, and then this kind of muted blue. I kind of wanted it to look like an orange saturation filter had been put on it. So these are all of my colors. I think they look really cool together. Very excited. I did order more of this. Hopefully it matches because I literally ordered these months ago. I thought I was going to get started on this much earlier than I did. Today, I'm also going to be baking a little bit. I don't even remember what kind of cookies they're called, but they're very unique looking. They almost remind me of like rugula. That's one of my favorite baked goods and I don't know how to pronounce it. Anyway, it's kind of like that. Have I moved from this spot on the couch? No, it's the holidays. It's technically my time off. I'm not moving. This is where I'll stay unless I have to eat something. So yeah, let's continue on. Also, a new season of Drawtectives just came out a week or two ago and YouTube did not notify me. Hello. So I have something nice and cozy to watch while I continue on my sweater vest. Okay, so I didn't want to show the pattern too much, so I just have the green up here, but every time I do a row, I'm just kind of like marking it off kind of like this, and that's kind of helped me keep up with my rows, even though I messed up a couple of times. Okay, a little update. Sorry if you can hear music in the background. I'm this far. It's been very nice going back to just one color because it's been a while. This was all very complicated. The one change that I had to make was this cross kind of kept losing its shape, so I had to make it about double the size of the original pattern. Are you go outside? Oh, are you ready? Yes, sir. Okay, this way, come on. Wait, why did that look really... Oh, wait, no. Oh, no. Okay, that's not bad. I thought I had to redo this, and I thought I miscounted again. Okay, cool. The next thing I'm gonna do is I finished this a little early, as far as like I gave myself a little extra space because I want to do a ribbed collar, which the original does not have. I'm going to do it very similarly to the way I did the bottom, where I just kind of like, well, actually it's going to be a little different. I'm going to connect it as I go. You'll see what I mean in a second, but that's what I'm doing. So this is actually really hard to explain, I'm realizing, but I don't like attaching ribbing separately, so instead I went along the neckline and attached it as I was crocheting it, making it relatively seamless between the two. This is so not clear, but I would basically make 2 rows of ribbing, and then once I made it back to the neckline, I would do 2 single crochets, attaching it to the corresponding place at the neckline, do 2 more rows, attach, and so on. This is definitely not precise, and I kind of have to go along and make sure that I'm not adding too many rows or too few, but I do have sensory issues with attached ribbing on other sweaters that I have, so I try to do my best this way. The front is done. It's so pretty. I'm in love with this. This might be, I know I say this about so many of my projects, this might be one of my favorite things I've ever made. It might be the favorite thing I've ever made just because, like, look at it. It's so cute. Let me tell you a couple of things that I had to change now that like the whole front panel is done. Okay, hi, editing me coming in here to tell you what I did change. I was feeling better at this point, but as I explain in a second, I was still feeling pretty under the weather, which I explain more in a second. So I actually did a really bad job at this point of explaining myself, so I'm just gonna do it real quick. Oh wait, hello. Sorry, the tape was on there. So I went to the size chart, found the size that should fit me, and instead of looking at the stitches or the stitch count, I instead looked at the final inches that the width should be specifically. Once I reached that length in inches, I counted my stitches, went back to the pattern and found out which size would fit that stitch count so that I could go off of that tapestry to make my garment, which ended up being about 4 sizes larger than my original size. If you'd asked me at the start of this, I totally would have assumed that crochet stitches were larger than knitting stitches. So it would have been less, like you could size down, which I thought would be great. I have a thicker yarn, like I have a 3 weight instead of a 1 or 2 weight like the pattern says to have. So I don't know why that happened. Can someone explain that to me? Also in a few minutes, I promise, I'll be showing you the yarn and the hook and everything that I used just in case you need it. I can't believe I haven't shown you up to this point. Anyway, also I didn't do a gauge swatch. I'm a chaos crocheter. And I don't like to do gauge swatches. I'm so sorry. I find them boring and they make me not want to start on a project. And I feel like it's more important to start on a project than to do everything perfectly. So yeah, but that's my experience so far with the sizing and such. Okay, I think I got my point across. Relatively okay. So back to past me. But this is where we are on the second one. Everything fit really well on this piece except for the bust, which is always, always, always my problem. I feel like I say it in every other video. So I decided to make the back panel even bigger. I'm going on in a little bit more blind on this one because 2 things. First of all, now that I understand the color work on this one a little bit more, I can improv and kind of make this shape a little bit different from the front because the main change is going to be that I'm not going to have a house on the back panel. That was really fun, but it was also really challenging. So I think I'm just gonna, because it's the back and I'm not ever gonna see it and I care more about what I see rather than what other people see because I'm selfish about my own clothing. And also it's my time and work. I'm not gonna have a house, so I'm changing the back a little bit and like adding green and more grass and more cloud. So I'm going in a little bit more like on my own, figuring it out in the back piece, as well as changing the sizing up a little bit. I also want the side seams to match. So the other thing I did was I flipped the image before starting so that this green will match up with this green when I put the pieces together. Yeah, anything else? No. I wasn't gonna bring this up because I feel like I've been sick so many times over the past 12 months. I feel like a literal like kindergartner petri dish. And I feel like you guys must be tired of hearing that I'm sick, so I'm sorry. But I'm still sick from the last video that you guys saw from me because I am filming this really soon after posting that. And I thought I was getting better. And then Christmas Eve and Christmas, it's now a couple days past Christmas. So hope you guys had a wonderful Christmas or holiday, whatever you celebrate. Mine was not, but also in the end was kind of a good thing. So we decided to not hang out with family because we just felt like we weren't getting, me and my mom both got the sickness because we live together. We catch everything from each other. We ended up just hanging out here and I ended up getting worse. Like on Christmas Eve, I started feeling really bad again. I started breaking out again. Like this thing causes like an allergic skin reaction. Like your skin reacts with like hives, redness, irritation. It's terrible. That's why I've been wearing very little makeup. I've actually just started to get better with that today. So I thought I could put on a little bit of makeup and get in front of the screen and talk. I literally slept Christmas away. Nothing happened during Christmas. So when we're actually better, we're gonna do a couple of Christmassy things. But today is the first day that I'm like, okay, I'm feeling kind of like myself again. So yay, hopefully I don't have another of just like teetering backwards into feeling bad. If that doesn't happen again, then that would be great. Today I'm also going to feed the birds. I fed the birds a few days ago, but I didn't do a good enough job of adding a spice into it, like hot sauce or cayenne pepper, I think is another one you can do. That keeps the squirrels at bay. And because I was feeling sick and getting sicker, I did a terrible job. And the squirrels ate everything. They've been bullying the birds, which I hate. That's when they get like that. They can be there, but they just can't bully them. By the way, if you don't know, birds don't taste spice. Like it's not a taste bud or whatever that they have, so they can have things that are like incredibly spicy and squirrels cannot. So that's a good way to keep squirrels at bay if you're also wanting to feed your backyard birds and like me have just been completely taken over by squirrels. Like there are 70 squirrels out there right now. It's more like 7, but it's full. Like everything has a squirrel in it right now. So that will be at some point either today or tomorrow whenever I feel like I feel well enough to do it. But yeah, we'll just keep crocheting. We're really going to try to get this finished soon-ish. So we'll get back to crocheting for a little bit.
can see a sea of alpine green, something that will stay with me. Sky is wrapped in blue, wish that I could share with you, like a photograph when times are good, when a flower begins to bloom. Life never felt so good. You're far, but distance doesn't break your heart. It gives us time to know our love. Grass all wrapped in you. Oh, I wish that I could lie with you. Oh, I know what I would hold on to. A memory when times are good. That's when I think of you. That's when I think of you. Oh, I know what I would hold on to. A memory when times are good. That's when I think of you. That's when I think of you.
Okay, don't look at me. I haven't showered. I'm a mess, but I wanted to talk for a second. So the sweater vest is done. It looks really, really good. I wanted to try a little something that I've never tried before, which was blocking, and I don't have blocking mats, or at least I didn't have blocking mats. I was gonna try it with like sewing pins and a piece of cardboard, and then it was like my grandmother read my mind and she sent me blocking mats. Crazy timing. I cannot believe this. Thank you, Grandma. Everyone say hi, Grandma, by the way. She watches my videos. Love you. I put my sweater vest into the wash. I know that some people don't believe in doing that, but first of all, the sweater vest is actually a little big. I could really stand for it to be a little smaller, so I don't care if it shrinks in the wash. And second of all, I've never had problems. putting it in the wash rather than just like wetting it. Since it's gonna snow very soon, I'm hoping it will snow on the day that I film the final part of this and show you the sweater vest. I kind of want to make a bonnet. I have a lot of leftover yarn and I could kind of make like a matching quote unquote one. It's been a couple of years. I've been seeing people wear bonnets and make bonnets and they're so cute. And so that's what I do with trends. If I'm not sure if I'll like it, especially if I have to make it for myself, I'll just wait it out. And I've waited it out and I still love them. So I'm gonna make myself one. And actually the second thing my grandma sent me, which was this deck of like crochet stitches that you can learn, was perfect. I went through these and I saw one that I really loved, which was a houndstooth. And I made my first panel, which is so pretty. I actually was extra inspired to do this because I started watching a new creator. Actually, they're not new, they're new to me. And they're called Breathing Yarn, I believe. And they made a bonnet recently without a pattern. And they were like, it's so much easier than you think it is. And the reason I hadn't tried it, I'm a very much so like, just go for it and don't research, don't look it up, just go for it. But I was scared. This looked kind of complicated to me. Like head shape is complicated to me. And they said that it's easier than you think it is, so just go for it. And that's what I'm doing. I'm doing a different shape. They did granny squares and I'm gonna do rectangles. I think that's best for my head shape. So I'm gonna do 2 of these, like one for each side of my head. And I'm gonna do a long one that's like a mohawk shape. We're gonna get to it. Maybe we'll get this done like today or tomorrow, hopefully. Let's go.
Season again, and the ash in the air is my eyes stinging, and I can hear the winter slowly awakening. The mountains are my only goal, so I can shed my skin and be made whole. In the crisp air and the red clay will be my salvation. Sets in with the early frost, and the things that I've loved are the things I've lost. The wheat from the chaff, the sheep from the goats. This year I am becoming my own home. This year I am becoming my own. Already leaving. I guess you got swept in their migration, and now every nest I come across looks abandoned. Pacing every inch of this room, looking for one spot without memories of you, but the blisters turn to callous if I'll just keep walking. This year I'm becoming my own home. This year I'm becoming my own.
Okay, final thoughts. I really love this sweater vest. It is a little on the hefty side. I like bulkier yarns. I like the look of it. I also could have made the back panel the same size as the front panel. I got a little scared. It would have been all right if I just made both of them the same size. I still like the shape, and I also feel like it's kind of breathable because it is a cotton, non-fuzzy yarn. So I think I could wear this all the way into the spring if I were just to like wear it alone with nothing underneath it. Overall, super happy. It's so cute. Hi, it's editing me. I forgot to talk about the bonnet. Hello. I just feel really scatterbrained lately. Sorry about that. I love it. Breathing Yarn was completely right. I want to make another one. It is so much easier than I thought it was going to be. I love the houndstooth. I love that I kept the seams visible on the outside. I think that makes for like a nice little bit of detail. Oh, I also forgot to mention another thing that I love about the sweater vest. The crochet gives off like a little bit of like pixelated video game vibes. I don't quite know how to say that, but it's giving huge Fields of Mystria vibes to me, if you know what I mean. Okay. That's it. But let me give you a few pointers for if you want to try this on your own. First off, you're going to want to give yourself some room. I would say at least make yourself one of the middle sizes. So whatever that is, whatever the size range, make sure you have at least 3 to 4 sizes up and 3 to 4 sizes down, especially if you're doing what I'm doing and changing the yarn on top of also changing how you're putting this thing together. Just give yourself some room is what I'll say. Maybe even give yourself a couple of sizes smaller. I don't really know what happened with me. I don't know if it was a one-off thing. I don't know if it's because I was crocheting. I don't know if it's because of the yarn I used. I just feel like give yourself some room to either grow or shrink depending on what size you end up being based off of the inches. Tiny details are going to be a little bit harder to capture, it seems, between crochet and knitting, at least with the larger yarn that I used, or I guess thicker yarn that I used. Like that little cross section, the section that had the cross on it, I had to double the size of that to make it not look like just a weird wavy line. And if you are doing this for the first time, I would do what I did, I'm glad I did this, and pick a pattern with a relatively simple shape. If there's a few curves, I wonder if it wouldn't translate as well between knitting and crochet. But once you do it once, I think you could totally try doing a more complicated shape. I definitely want to try it another time. Or you could just knit the pattern first and then crochet so you have an idea of what everything should look like. I went in completely blind. I'd never worked with this pattern before. I don't want to make 2 of the same thing usually, so I just went for it. Thank you all so much for watching. If you are also currently working on something right now, I would actually love if you commented that below. It's some of my favorite comments I get. Again, it's another one of those ways that this just kind of feels more communal. So tell me what you're working on. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to like, comment, subscribe, all those things. I hope you had a good time, and I hope to see you back here next time. Bye.